Hello and welcome to this presentation by Collette Tours about sunny Portugal. My name is Hector and I'm the sales manager for Collette Tours for Southwestern Ontario. Today we have hooked up with your travel agent Sarah to promote this group to Portugal, and I'm gonna give you a quick overview what you can expect on this tour. But quickly, let's talk about Collette. Collette, it's a very old company, established in 1918. That makes us 105 years old, if you're good with numbers. And we not only specialize to North America and Europe, but we do cover all 7 continents. Okay, so we have great tours to Asia. If you want to do safari in Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Egypt, we have it as well. South America, even Antarctica, the 7th continent. We have a beautiful ship there with National Geographic. I'd like to share with you 3 different quotes I have throughout this presentation. The first one is, it's very neat. Maybe you've heard this one before or not. When something good happens, travel to celebrate. If something bad happens, travel to forget. If nothing happens, travel to make something happen. And this is so true, right? And I always like this quote, so that's why I'd like to share this with my fellow travelers. COVID wasn't fun for anybody. But rest assured, if you booked a tour with Collette during those hard times, we would give our clients 3 different choices. The first choice, obviously because nobody could travel, you could rebook your travel for future departure, which was price protected. Second choice, we would offer you a travel voucher valued at 105% of money received. However, the third choice was the most popular choice. People wanted money back, right? And Collette was one of the few companies that were actually giving clients refund. Most companies were giving future vouchers because they didn't have all this cash laying around. How much cash, you ask? Look at on the bottom. During COVID, we have actually refunded over $230 million. Okay. Why am I showing this screen to you? Because if something happens in the future, knock on wood, hopefully not, we're gonna look after you. Okay, so we're gonna give you probably those 3 choices again if something happens. And so people really love this idea because they feel protected when traveling with Collette. So tour at glance, this sunny Portugal, it's a beautiful itinerary, one of our most popular itineraries to Europe and beyond. We're gonna fly to Lisbon, which is the capital of Portugal. Then we're gonna travel, when you look at the map here, then we're gonna have 3 nights in Cascais, which is a beautiful seaside resort. Then we're gonna visit a couple of small towns, north, west, and then we're gonna travel to Lagos, which is part of Algarve. Okay, that's where everybody wants to go. It's absolutely beautiful, beautiful beaches, amazing food, great wine. And also this particular itinerary, it's very unique because we have a couple of different options for you. The first one is when you see this orange little line going all the way to Porto, you can do pre-extension in Porto for 3 nights. And also you can do 3 nights post-extension in Madeira Island. So we're gonna fly you to this little island of Madeira on Atlantic Ocean. It's like Hawaii of Europe. That's what they call it. And I'm gonna tell you more about it later on. So after Lisbon, we're gonna transfer you to Cascais for 3 nights. This is a Portuguese Riviera. Absolutely beautiful beaches, very nice colonial town, lots of history. You can see even the mountains at the back, so it's very refreshing as well. That's another beautiful view of Cascais. So we're gonna have lots of included features for you, as well as free time for you to explore. When we arrive on the first night there, we're gonna have a welcome dinner. Any of our tours you travel with Collette, we always gonna have a welcome dinner included and farewell dinner included for you. The good thing is also about those dinners, when we have dinners included with Collette, they're gonna be at the local restaurants, which is amazing. Why is it important? Because a lot of other tour operators, when they have dinners included, they might be at the local hotels. And you don't want to eat that. You want to eat at the local restaurants. It's more authentic, right? Plus, at the same time, we support local communities by doing that, okay? So when we arrive in Cascais on the first night there, you're going to have a lovely welcome dinner in the local restaurant. This is a nice district of Lisbon, one of the oldest districts, Alfama. Lisbon was built on 7 hills. This is one of the hills that we're going to explore with our local guides, of course. This will be included. But also you will have a lot of free time to shop around and go to little cafes and whatnot. But Lisbon, it's a beautiful, one of the oldest cities in Europe. Again, it's the biggest city of Portugal, and it's the capital city as well. Couple of monuments. This is Belém Tower, right on the river, which is a UNESCO heritage site. Used to be a fortress back in the day, and also used to be a prison back in the day. So it's quite unique site to see. Another beautiful site in Lisbon is Jerónimos Monastery. Again, this one, it's UNESCO heritage site as well. Huge monastery. Vasco da Gama tomb, it's actually buried in that monastery. Vasco da Gama was one of the famous explorers, Portuguese explorers back in the day. Okay, so this is an amazing site as well. Back to Cascais, you're gonna have a lot of free time just to wander a promenade, like it's beautiful, right on the sea, right on the seaside. A resort, you know, of beautiful restaurants and cafes and shops to you know, just to wander around. One night you will have this option. This is not included, but it's Lisbon by night. So we have a nice dinner included at the local restaurants and nice local performance by local musicians. Okay, this is not included because maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, and maybe, you know, people want to do their own thing. But if you like to experience that, you know, you just book this with a tour manager on a tour, and they will hook you up on that. Okay. The following day, we're gonna travel north to little town of Obidos, and this is a beautiful little village, but it's surrounded by those city walls, as you can see, all around, right? So it's absolutely amazing just to walk on and you can actually walk all around the town on the city walls, right? So again, we're gonna have a nice guided tour with local guide, and that will give you a lot of free time as well to explore on your own. Next will be Sintra, which is another UNESCO heritage site. This is the beauty of this tour. You'll have, I think, 5 or 6 different UNESCO heritage sites, which is absolutely phenomenal. This was a very famous Sintra. It was a summer residence for a lot of Portuguese kings because it's right on the hills, so it wasn't too hot during summer, right? So it's very pleasant temperature and very look at the beautiful buildings and everything. And when in Sintra, you will have a choice. You will give you our guide will give you a free time to explore Sintra, or you can join National Palace of Sintra tour. It's a guided tour. Okay, so obviously, you know, you can decide, and the tour manager will explain, you know, the benefits, you know, for this one and that one. If you want to do with the group, absolutely. If you want to do your own thing, you have free time in Sintra. Another nice point is it's Cabo da Roca, which is actually the most western point of continental Europe. Okay, because then of course you have British Isles, which is more west, but continental Europe, this is as far west as you can get, right? After that, you know, it's Atlantic Ocean and North America, of course, right? When you go west, but it's a, you know, fascinating point, you know, great for taking pictures and exploring a little bit as well. There's a little village as well, Arraiolos, with again city walls. There's so much history, right? Roman history as well. It was occupied during the Roman times as well. Portugal is also famous for making cork. So we're gonna visit one of the family-owned factory that they make this cork tree. So obviously the most famous one, you know, is for wine, corks for wine. So Portugal is famous for that. But they make 100 other things that, you know, you can make from cork. So they will explain the whole process, you know, how those trees grow, you know, how much, you know, cork you can get out of it. So it's very interesting excursion. So we're gonna visit this on this itinerary. Another UNESCO heritage site, Evora, absolutely one of the most beautiful towns of Portugal. It's an open air museum. That's what they call Evora, because there's so many amazing buildings, right? Just you don't have to go inside the museum. This is open air museum, right? That you can all explore it. And again, we're gonna have a guided tour with local guides explaining everything, the history, all the buildings, but also they will give you a lot of free time on your own to explore as well. Okay. Speaking of history, there is a beautiful Roman temple still standing, dated from 2 AD. Yes, over 2,000 years old. This is incredible, right? Obviously, not much is left, but you still have some interesting columns, and a local guide will explain about it as well. Monsaraz, it's another beautiful hill town. Again, lots of history, very medieval, right? Overlooking the whole surroundings of that area of Portugal. Beautiful castle as well that you're gonna get to explore. And then we're gonna travel south to Lagos, right? So we're gonna have 3 nights in a beautiful hotel in Lagos for you. And this is a famous Algarve, right? Area that everybody wants to go to south of Portugal. So you have beautiful whitewashed, little towns and beautiful beaches as well. This is, make sure you bring your swimming suit with you, because there will be opportunities for you to have a swim. Look how beautiful this one is. And actually, in one of the days, you're going to have a full day just to enjoy at your own pace. Okay, so you can go swimming, you can go explore, go to restaurants, cafes, shopping, right? So it's a nice, this tour is a beautiful combination between included time and free time. So it's a perfect balance, right? So you don't feel overwhelmed that it's too busy or there's not enough stuff for you to do, right? So it's a good balance, good mix, if you will, right? Between included and free time on this particular itinerary. Also in Algarve, because it's beautiful weather there as well. We're gonna have some fruit plantations. They grow oranges there. They have almond trees as well, and a couple of other varieties of trees as well. Then also we'll offer you an optional excursion to do a coastal cruise. This is not included because maybe not everybody is is into that, and maybe you want to have more free time. But it's a half a day, I think about 4 or 5 hours, with local guides, right, taking you on a little cruise along the coast of Algarve, right? And look how beautiful the scenery is from outside there. Another little small town, Faro, which is as well, right on the coastal south of Portugal, and again, whitewashed houses, lots of history, little cafes, friendly people, great food, great wine. Speaking of wine, we're gonna have a nice lunch for you included one of those days with some local liqueurs as well, so you can get to taste right what's the local wine is all about. Tavira, another ancient town. See, Portugal, the whole Iberian Peninsula, not only it was occupied by Roman Empire many like 2,000 years ago, but also it was occupied by Moorish. Moorish, it's an Arab tribe from mostly from Morocco, right? So they occupied. So you'll see a lot of great combinations between Catholic Roman Empire and the Moorish, right? So it's more Arabic influence as well. So it's quite interesting to see this balance again in Portugal that you'll see all over the place. Speaking of Romans, again, there's still some old bridges standing in Tavira that you'll get the opportunity to explore as well. Back to Lagos again. We're gonna have 3 nights in Lagos for you, so you can unpack. It's more relaxed atmosphere, and again, the evening will be at leisure for you, right? Just to explore, and the tour guide will explain to where else you can go if you want to explore some maybe local markets, do some shopping. Absolutely. Azulejos, these are the hand-painted tiles that we're gonna visit the factory, because this is famous in that region of Portugal. Painted tiles, so they're gonna explain the process, the ceramics and everything, how they paint it. And this is this has been going for centuries, right? So it's a big deal for them, and it's interesting just to see how this is all made. Like I mentioned, on any of our tours with Collette, you're always gonna have welcome and farewell dinner, and of course on the last night there you're gonna have a beautiful local meal at the local restaurant, right? Before you fly home. However, before you fly home, like I mentioned, you might maybe opt, you have those 2 extensions. The one pre-extension, so it's actually before the tour. It's in Porto, so it's a beautiful town. It's very big as well, but Lisbon is still bigger, and Lisbon is the capital. But Porto, look how beautiful Porto is. Beautiful, colorful houses. It's right on the Atlantic Ocean as well, and Porto is famous for port wine as well, right? Because it's very close to Douro River, which is the wine region of Portugal. Look at the train station in Portugal. If if I didn't know this was a train station, I thought it was a museum, because look how beautiful the murals, right, and the paintings are on the train station. So we actually we're going to visit this, one local train station, because this is a sightseeing in itself. Okay, so São Bento train station in Porto. We're going to cross the bridge, of course, because we're going to have 3 nights, so lots, time to explore. But look how beautiful Porto is, right, from both sides of the river. And then maybe if you have a little bit more time, you can visit post-extension to famous Madeira Island, right? So we're going to fly you from Lisbon to Madeira, and Madeira, it's called the Pearl of Atlantic Ocean, right? Because look how beautiful it is. They call it the Hawaii of Europe, because it's subtropical. They have volcanoes, they have palm trees, they have lavas, they have beautiful botanical gardens, which we're going to visit, Funchal Botanical Gardens, of course, and look at all the different species of trees, and of course palm trees and everything else. Look how amazing this is, right? So this is, again, they call it the Hawaii of Europe. And we're gonna have 3 nights there, so of course we're gonna explore with the local guides all those little villages there, all the sightseeing. There will be time to swim again, so don't forget your swimsuit again. So because there will be a lot of free time as well on that one. And then after 3 nights, we're gonna fly you to Lisbon, and then you're gonna go fly back home. Okay, so that's in a quick overview of that beautiful sunny Portugal tour. This is capital of Saint Vicente in Portugal. Look how beautiful that is, right? And this is where we're gonna do that optional cruise for you on one of those 3 days that you're gonna have. So a little bit about Collette. So what sets us apart? We are the most inclusive 4-star guided tour. So when you travel with us, we have 4-star or better hotels for you. Okay, very good location, very good hotels, no matter where you go. We are the pioneers of choice in guided tours. So not only, when we go to those local restaurants, you're gonna have choice of meals, right? So if you don't like chicken, you can have, fish, you can have vegetarian, right? So there will be always choices for you, as well as, I show you one in Sintra, I think. When there was this little sign left or right, you're gonna have a choice on that tour, and many other tours as well. Okay, with Collette, of course, you have 105 years experience, which is amazing. We know what we're doing, hopefully by now. In a nutshell, when you travel with Collette, it's a worry-free, hassle-free vacation. So what it means, all the logistics are looked after for you, right? We book the flights for you, the transfers will be included, beautiful hotels will be included, transportation, right? At the destination will be included. Your tour manager, your local guides will be included. Many meals will be included at the local restaurants. So again, you just sit back and relax and enjoy your vacation. Okay, that's what Collette tours are all about. Our vision is to be socially responsible, right? So whenever that doesn't matter where we travel, we always try to engage with local communities, right? That's why, I mentioned about our restaurants. When we go for dinners, we're gonna have them at the local restaurants, because we want to help those little, mom and pop shops, right? To help them, especially after COVID. Obviously, everybody was struggling. We don't want to, necessarily, have those dinners at the hotels like some other guys, because not only it's cheaper, but then you support the big chain hotels. We want to support those little communities, those little restaurants. That's why we go there. Plus, it's more authentic for you as well. Another little quote I'm going to share with you, because I like those quotes. When you travel, leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but pictures. And this is so true, right? Being, socially responsible when it doesn't matter where you travel. This is such a great quote that I've been sharing with my fellow travelers for years. If you're a solo traveler, maybe you have nobody to travel with, don't despair. Collette, it's perfect tour for you, right? Because the details are covered. Like I mentioned, all the logistics, hotels, transportation, guides are already looked after you. You have expert tour managers by your side, so you're never by yourself, right? Whenever you travel, you feel safe, because safety in numbers, right? So when you go on this tour, you might have maybe 30, 40 people on it from around the world. So people like that idea because they feel safe, right? Especially in a foreign country if you don't speak the language, right? At the same time, because you travel with all those people, you make new friends. Because again, you might have, people traveling from Canada, from US, from Australia, New Zealand, because we sell it to those 4 countries, just so you know. but you make new friends. And a lot of times people, they really like each other doing, they tour with Collette, they exchange email addresses, Facebook accounts, Twitter, and they hooked up for future Collette travel, right? So you're gonna make new friends there. And we have amazing solo prices as well. So check with Sarah, she will tell you how much, solo pricing is for that. But we have fantastic, buying power because we've been doing it for over 100 years, right? So we have really, really good prices for solo travelers, okay? You can personalize your adventure. Make sure when you travel with us, try to book flights with us for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you have flights with us, we include transfers, right? So when you arrive to Lisbon, someone's going to meet you at the airport, right? And taking you to our hotel. This will be included. You don't have to take buses, subways, or taxis, right? They will be included when you do flights with us. Another reason why you should book flights with us, it's very important. If something happens, if let's say you book separate flights, right? Maybe you have aeroplane points or, there's a good deal, but just think about it. If something happens to that flight, if there's a delay, there's cancellation, right? Interruption, then you know what? You're going to be stuck with this flight because the tour is going to Collette tours going. Like they're not going to wait for you because, they're going to have 30, 40 people, right? However, if you book flight with us, if there's a change or, cancellation or, delay of some sort, we will notify you. You don't have to call the airlines and be on hold for hours because that's normally, how long you're going to have to wait because airlines are very busy right now. The point is here, if you book land and air, everything with us, it's all, first of it's all on one invoice. And if something happens, we look after that. We just give you a phone call and your travel agent's like, listen, Sarah, this is what's happening to your clients. There's a delay. Don't worry about it. You don't have to lift a finger. We're gonna do the changes for you. Okay, well, we'll just notify you. So this is a beautiful, hassle-free, worry-free for you. Dining experiences, I already talked about it. We're gonna have, the local restaurants, and we always have the welcome and the farewell dinner included. We may have also a couple of dinners included throughout the tour, but we don't include all the dinners for a very good reason, because, when people travel in a group, they don't want to have dinner included all the time with the group. They want to do their own thing, right? So, but we always include the welcome and farewell dinner on the last night at the local restaurants. Optional excursions, I showed you a couple of them. So again, those are not included, but, if you feel like, you want to do this cruise, right? Just off the coast of Portugal, or that another one, I think it was that evening in Lagos as well. Right? Absolutely. But again, you don't feel obliged because, it's optional. So you didn't pay for it. So you can do your own thing, or you can, do this directly with the tour director. Okay. You can always add additional pre and post nights at the destination, as well as those tour extensions. So tour extensions, like I mentioned already, you can have that extension before in Porto for 3 nights, or you can have a post extension in Madeira Island, the Hawaii of Europe, right after. So that's, what. Listen, the way I'm looking at things is that you're already there, you're already in Europe, right? You're already in Portugal, you already paid for your flight, extend it by a few days and visit those places, because question is, how often are you gonna go there, right? Sometime maybe this will be the only time you're gonna visit Portugal, so why not do it all, right? So that's my reasoning behind it, right? Those 2 extensions. But let's say, maybe it's, you don't have enough time or money, right, to do that. Absolutely, just do the basic sunny Portugal tour, and which is still a great itinerary. Okay. Also, another good thing is when you do air and land with us, not only transfer is included in Portugal, in Lisbon, they're gonna pick you up at the airport and taking you to the hotel. We also gonna have a home pickup here. I know Sarah is in Grimsby, so we actually can arrange, if there will be a group of us traveling on this particular itinerary, we're going to arrange home pickup from Grimsby, for example. Okay. And this is already included. And we'll take you from Grimsby to Toronto Airport. And then after the tour, when the tour finishes, the same bus will wait for you at the airport in Toronto, taking you back to Grimsby. We'll pick one location, and then that's what they're going to do. So that's another advantage of booking flights with us, because this will be included. You don't have to take taxi or Uber or ask your cousin to drive you to Toronto, right? Which will be like over an hour, depending on the traffic. Okay, so this is another advantage. Make sure when you travel that you have your insurance with you, especially after COVID. It's a no-brainer, right? So when you book with Collette, we have this great insurance coverage that includes medical assistance, evacuation if something happens, baggage or delay of a tour. And also we have this really nice no worries protection or a voucher that you can cancel for any reason up to 24 hours before the departure, and it's a full refund, okay? So let's say you have a sniffle a day before. Is it a flu? Is it a cold? Is it COVID, right? We don't know. So you start panicking, oh my God, I have this, I don't know, am I going to be covered? When you book insurance through Collette, you're going to be canceled for any reason. You tell us you have a sniffle, call Sarah, she's going to call us, cancel it, you're going to get a full refund, minus the insurance cost, of course, right? The great thing about this insurance also is that there's no age limit. So it doesn't matter if you're 40 years old, 50, 70 years old, it's going to be the same price, which is amazing because a lot of insurance companies, the older you are, the more you pay. With us, it's all equal. Okay, so this is amazing, no age limit. And also when you book insurance with us, no medical questionnaire, which is fantastic. Because there are certain companies that they're going to ask you, there's like 8 pages, right? That you have to fill out the history of, of yourself, of your wife, the history, medical history of your parents, of your grandparents, medical history of your dog and your cat and pets and everything, right? It's a lot, right? With us, no medical questionnaire, right? Which is amazing. So make sure when you travel, because you're protecting your investment, you're protecting your trip by doing that, right? And you just never know what's going to happen, right? Knock on wood, some hopefully not, but make sure you have insurance, especially post-COVID, okay? Also, when you travel with us for the first time, you're going to be automatically enrolled into our loyalty program. We call the Collette Passport Club. So then if you travel with us the following year, you'll get $150 per person off. And if you travel maybe within 2 years, you're going to get additional 100 off per person, right? And this is applicable and combinable if there's any, already discounts, maybe a promos happening in the marketplace. This is always on top of it, right? Because this is the loyalty program that is always on top of whatever pricing we already have. Speaking of passport, make sure when you travel, you're going to have a valid passport. We always recommend make sure the passport is valid up to 8 months beyond the travel date. Just, in case something, happens and you have to stay behind at the destination. And also, certain countries required visa. Portugal doesn't, there's no visa required for Canadians. That's if you travel on Canadian passport. There are some visas, when you travel to Egypt, you travel to China, you travel to Vietnam, Cambodia, some exotic destinations. But again, if you book with Sarah, Sarah will be able to tell you, if there's visa required. But most of the European countries, there's no visa required for Canadians, okay? And speaking of Sarah, so Sarah works with a travel-only company. And this is that group that we have blocked actually for you. This is for next year, for May 21st to 30th, right? 2024. And this on the bottom you can see Sarah's information. Her number is 289-455-1343. Or email address is info@barefoottravel.ca, right? That's the travel agency, Barefoot Travel, which is part of Travel Only Consortia, right? So she's got those flyers as well. This is just the front page flyer, but there's more information, obviously, with all the details inside the flyer, which Sarah can be able to share with you, okay? So, but that's the travel agent that you'll be dealing with. It's Sarah at Barefoot Travel. And on this note, I'd like to say thank you for participating. This was just half an hour, so hopefully not too bad. Happy travels. And I'd like to leave you with one last quote, one of my favorite quotes that I like to share with fellow travelers. And it says, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page." Again, thank you and happy travels.